28 Board of Education meeting to order. Can I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Canning? Absent. Mrs. Gleason? Here. Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mrs. Jones? Here. Mrs. Campworth here. Mrs. Ressler? Here. Ms. Stearns?
Here. Please rise for the pledge.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'm looking for a motion to approve the September 15th budget hearing minutes, both open and closed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Ms. Ressler. Is there any discussion? No discussion.
You ready? Okay. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler? Aye. Ms. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth? Aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Now I'm looking for a motion to approve the September 22nd Committee of the Whole minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. Ressler. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth? Aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Now I'm looking for a motion to approve the September 29th Committee of the Whole minutes.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Jones, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth? Aye. Mrs. Ressler? Aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Board recognition.
All right, well, I'm going to ask for a few people to join me. So members of my football boosters, if you would step up here so all eyes can be on you. Why don't you guys just kind of fill in over here? And look, at Mr. Mayan showed up just in time. How did volleyball turn out? Oh, okay. Well, the reason why I like to be surrounded by great company here is because, as you guys know, on September 25th, we did the ABC 7 Friday flyover. When Lori first told me that we were selected, I think we had about a week to put it together. It was a pretty short period of time. And when I had heard we needed to have people here at 5 o'clock in the morning, you try to think about what entices kids or what would be motivational for kids to come here at 5 o'clock in the morning. Literally the bus routes ran at 4 a.m. So I mean, you know, again, what motivates kids to get here that early in the morning or get the bus in the pitch dark to get on that bus at 4 in the morning? I think working with teenagers over the years, the first thing that I thought of that would motivate kids is food. It's either food or sleep. Well, I was definitely negating their sleep, so my only other option was to think about was food. It was nice enough to be able to consult with some of my fellow colleagues that had the Friday flyover before, and they told me a little bit how they did it. So there were two very important people that I approached. I approached Vince Aiello to help with the formations on the field, which they did an outstanding job with. But I don't think those formations were necessarily going to be the draw to get them out of bed at 4 in the morning. It was the food. And the people standing behind me, our football booster club, is absolutely responsible for feeding. We had almost 600 people here, students, staff, community members, to participate in our Friday flyover. So at 5:15 in the morning, the girls were going. They cooked hamburgers and hot dogs, served water, chips to the kids. We had music playing, and they had kind of their own post-game celebration or post-event celebration after, you know, getting roused out of bed so early in the morning. I really can't, if you were there, it's hard to put into words. It was just simply awesome. The number of people, I couldn't believe how early I got here, and there are already people here. It was just absolutely amazing, and what a fun, spirited, happy event. And it was just so funny because when they knew the food was coming, you know, if you were there, you saw them all dart towards the concession stand. And you know, it really doesn't matter 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. Kids can eat round the clock. So, and they sure did. So they served 600 people a full, I guess, almost like a tailgate meal before school started. That's what made it so popular. And that was the little twist that made people want to come and hang out and really have a great time. We never would have had the turnout if we didn't have that draw. So it is absolutely, I thank each and every one of you personally. Even though I wasn't able to do that when I was being interviewed. So I have this earpiece in my ear, and I even said to Lori before it started, I said, I'm nervous because I can't really hear. You were hearing the broadcasters, but you're hearing commercials, you hear other people talking to each other. And so when it clicked in and said, okay, are you ready? And I said, yes, I heard myself say yes back. And I went, well, that's not good. So when they asked me the questions, and I was hearing myself talk over myself back and forth, I just didn't give them the due credit that they deserved. They're here tonight because they absolutely deserve that credit. So to my outstanding Football Booster Club, thank you so much for getting up early, for supplying the food, cooking the food, and making it just an awesome morning for everybody. So for that,
I have a plaque I'd like to present to you. It says the Board of Education presents this award to the Titan Football Boosters. You have helped to provide a positive learning environment for the students of District 228 by the time and talents you share. Thank you for caring.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take it in concession.
All right, and then why don't you guys all squish together so you can get a picture. Stearns and I will be the bookends.
Do we have spouses missing?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Mr. Simon?
are you not coming up? Well, I was wondering what you were doing.
Get your wife up here. Come on.
Okay, look this way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Kids always eat. I know, right? Yes, they do. All right, well, hopping right into our school presentation, if you wouldn't mind, I have a couple slides I am going to put up here on the screen. So if I could have you come and take a seat in the first row. All right, I think I'm going to stand over here. So tonight I just want to quickly highlight, sometimes we do board presentations. Each of our schools have very similar programs, and we all have FLCs, SLCs, we all work, with RTI groups and things like that. But I just wanted to take a couple minutes to share with you a few unique programs that we're offering, some of which are new this year. So we're dipping our toe in a pond to see, again, how we can continue to positively affect kids and ultimately affect their connectivity to high school and overall student achievement. So the first program is, we call it our, hop on there, is our Titan. Is Randy up there? Yeah. Go ahead. Stay. Okay. Is our Titan Ambassador program. And basically what we had realized that over time, we're kind of in a different position than we were years ago, and we find a lot of new students coming to Tinley Park High School either before the school year starts or actually transitioning in during the school year. Sadly enough, I have to admit to all of you, they came in, they got their schedules, they met with the counselors, they met with the nurse. And then they showed up the next day and went through their schedules. There wasn't a whole lot of welcome and or pomp and circumstance for these new students who are entering our building. It's hard enough to be a new student in a new place, in a new building. Some of these kids are coming from out of state. Some of these kids are coming from out of the country. And we realized that we actually looked at their academic achievement of our transfer students last year, and it wasn't necessarily that great. And so we feel like we kind of missed the boat a little bit with not connecting them to school, not getting to know who they were, not understanding maybe what supports they need in order to be successful. So what happens now is they actually meet. We have a group of student ambassadors who, on their first day of school, they'll meet in the main office. We try to match them the best we can with somebody in their age group or somebody in their interest group. They'll get a tour of the building. They'll actually get to walk their schedule with 2 other students. We make arrangements for them to meet with one of these student ambassadors to have lunch with them. I think sometimes we forget how intimidating the cafeteria is in a new building on the first day of school and not kind of either knowing the routine, knowing where to sit, or knowing who you're comfortable with. They get welcomed with a little Titan goodie bag with some Titan pens and pencils and a cup and some stickers and different things of that nature, just to again welcome them on board and try to start garnering some of that Titan spirit. We have once a month, anybody that was new coming in that month, we actually call them in and we have lunch with all the administrators. And during that lunch period, it's really just to get to know these kids, to let them know, hey, welcome to Tinley Park High School. This is who we are. This is what our roles are. If you ever need any help or any direction or any support, don't be afraid to come up. We don't bite. We're not these anonymous people that you just need to see somebody walking down the hall and may or may not acknowledge or know who that person is. During that time, we give them a survey, and that survey, it's a little bit about where did you come from, what school did you transfer from, did you move here, is this your first transition to a new school? And it's very eye-opening that so many of them, this isn't their first transition to a new school. What some of the things that they were maybe nervous about, and some things that they were looking forward to, or things that they would like to be connected to. We use that as kind of our conversation starters with them, just to get them talking to us talking with them, and we make sure that we connect those kids with those interests to coaches or sponsors. So we just had one, a couple weeks ago at the end of September, and one student wanted to go off the wrestling team, one wanted to play basketball, one wanted to be on the girls' track team. There were different interests, and sometimes when you're new, you may not seek out that coach. You may not feel comfortable saying, oh, who's Mr. Johnson? I don't know who Mr. Johnson is. Well, Mr. Johnson is down in room such and such. Mr. Brown is in such and such. Miss Gaines, oh, she's a PE teacher. She teaches this. So we reach out to those coaches to go find those kids and say, hi, I'm Coach Nolan, and this is what I coach. I hear you're interested. Here's when tryouts are. Here's when preseason conditioning is, just so that they don't have to look for that information. We almost go seek them to get them connected versus forcing them to make that first step. Our plan is to monitor their academic success on a quarterly basis, and if we see them struggling, really surround them with those supports. Are they struggling for a social emotional reason? Are they struggling because they need a tutor? Are they struggling because they're just having a hard time? But I think we now know who they are. They haven't just anonymously been dropped in our building, dropped into classes, dropped into our hallways, and we're able to build a relationship with them that way. Our plan is at the end of the year to pull all transfer students who came to us together at the end of the year and basically say, how did it go? What can we do better? If you're going to give some advice to a new transfer student, what should we be focusing on? And with our intent is to connect them to our school, connect them to our school community, connect them to sports and activities, and hopefully, have that drive, their desire to connect academically, connect socially, and make this, their home for the rest of their time here at Tinley Park High School. So these are just, that's our first lunch. Our first one was pretty big. These were all students who registered prior to the beginning of the school year, but we had 38 new students to Tinley Park High School before the first day of school. So our next program, it's called Challenge 2016, and it is sponsored or funded by Bettenhausen Automotive Group. So when we talk about that connections, when we talk about reaching out to our kids, letting them know that we want to know who they are and that we do care about them. Kids, well, everybody loves Titan gear. People like shirts, sweatshirts, bags. They like things that represent their school. And I said, what I would love to do is I would love to be able to shake every freshman's hand that walks in this building and say, hi, I'm Dr. Nolan, I'm the principal, I'm happy you're here. Here's some Titan gear. And, welcome to the Titan family. That had been rattling around in my head for a while, and it could be pretty expensive when you're buying, 300 t-shirts and things like that. So the idea just didn't die, because I feel like it's very important. And so I reached out to Bettenhausen, who are always very, very gracious to us. And they said, no problem, we'll buy the shirts for you. So that's a picture of the shirt on the front. Obviously, there's a Bettenhausen Automotive logo on the back, which is absolutely fine with me. But he said, I'll go one step further. He goes, why don't we make this a program? Why don't we have these freshmen, as you shake their hand and welcome them to Tinley Park High School, why don't you give them a challenge while they're at Tinley Park High School? Set up some criteria that they need to meet on a yearly basis, which kind of maybe narrows the field towards their senior year. And at the end of the year, Bettenhausen Automotive will actually give a cash award to one of those freshman students. Well, how do I turn that down? Okay, free t-shirts and money at the end. So he gives me a call and says, the Bettenhausen Foundation is willing to give a $10,000 award to a member of our freshman class of 2019, who in their freshman year maintains a 2.5 grade point average, does a minimum of 5 hours community service work, and connects themselves to the school through an activity and or a sport. So they're taking care of their academics, they're taking care of their connection to Tinley Park High School, and their connection to community. At the end of their freshman year, everybody who has met those requirements stay in the pool for sophomore year. Same requirements for their sophomore year. Everybody who's left in that pool who maintains those same criteria goes to their junior year. And then senior year, anybody who's eligible, their foundation will review the people who are eligible. They'll maybe fill out an application and they'll select somebody to give $10,000 to. So on honors night, I get very excited to think that somebody from Bettenhausen Automotive is going to award someone walking in these halls right now $10,000 for committing themselves to their academics, to community service, and to us extracurricularly. So we just got the shirts. So we're in the planning stages to start pulling freshmen and really have to get those out, get that information out to parents, and kind of celebrate its kickoff. They even decorated a car for the flyover. If you were at the flyover, they decorated a car for us to be on the field as well. So just an exciting program that's up and coming. And lastly, and this is just a brief overview, this one isn't necessarily new, but there's a new component to it. Our partnership with Sylvan continues. This year they are adding an advanced reading program that goes along with the ACT prep program. These are offered during our lunch periods. Their guarantee in the advanced reading program is amazing. Their goal is to get kids to read more words per minute and have higher levels of comprehension, and they make a guarantee from the pre-test to the post-test that will happen. In addition to the ACT prep program that will be offered once again in January of 2016. That I know initially, I've talked to the board already about our initial successes with that as well. Again, just working with them on the ACT prep program and really, like I said, celebrating those successes allowed us to continue that partnership and now first semester offer this advanced reading program too. So we're just in the process of getting that scheduled and talking to parents and getting that information out there, but we're definitely looking forward to seeing the results of both of these programs. Again, they are at a cost to the student, However, the cost, and I'd be happy to say the advanced reading program is at $185, and I know that sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. If you walk into their center, it's $650. Their ACT prep program is just under $1,100 if you walk into their center, and they're offering it to our students for $208. Same program, same materials, same number of hours. The instruction is just here instead of at their center. So when I was talking to parents on parent-teacher conference, it's $393 to do both programs. And I said sometimes when we talk about iPhones and shoes and when we talk about the things that are important, if $393 can position your son or daughter to really be in a better position to take that ACT, to better use those reading skills and those reading comprehension skills across all curricula, it's an investment that's well worth it. So again, we'll hopefully have some information and details with that to come. But the last slide here just talks about, I have this, here's this research publication that comes out. This research publication that comes out, and it really talks about, I love it because it talks about the connection of adults to kids and then their value of being connected to the school extracurricularly in some way, shape, or form. And it sums up from this research that they did that personal connections and extracurricular activities are the best investments the school can make to help promote achievement, student engagement, and the attitudes and habits that lead to college aspirations and ultimate success. So all three of these programs, whether it's through the Titan 2019 Challenge and getting them connected to school and community, whether it's our Student Ambassador Program, getting kids connected to their own peers and getting them connected here in the schools, and then obviously prepping our kids with the Sylvan programs to assist with their academic achievement. I'm just hoping that this is a great trifecta for us to kick off the school year. So I just wanted to let you guys know what's on the bill this year. Any questions? Oh, and that was just, yeah. I know Kim Camford is in the S somewhere. Kim is in the S somewhere. There you go. So,
That S is all parents. That's how many parents came to see us.
it was awesome. It was awesome. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you.
I think I jumped down in a presentation, so we're going to do the good news reports. Morgan, whose lovely face was on Channel 7 News as well. Morgan, take it away.
Hi, my name is Morgan. I'm a senior here. This is my second time doing it. So first off, on September 25th, 2015, we had some students along with two counselors, Miss Sherry Walsh and Miss Kelly Grady. They traveled down to Chicago and they met with police officers in the city's Marine Unit. They are responsible for the lakes and rivers, ponds and lagoons all over the city of Chicago. So the students that went were able to kind of go along with these officers and see what the job really entails. Also, just last week, I believe, was our Powder Puff game. Stephanie Nichols, who is a junior this year, ran the ball over 100 yards and then scored 2 touchdowns. And then we have a freshman this year, Kayla Serafini. She was awesome. She led the way defensively and then had 2 interceptions. And we were standing on the sidelines. Oh my goodness, I can't believe she just did that 2 times. Not only 1, but 2. And then our BPA program, were very successful in kind of hosting this event, and then they ended up raising $700 for Special Olympics. And then we want to give special thanks to Ms. Laura Munoz, Coach Michelle Berry, Coach Josh O'Shea, and then all of the players and all of the students who are involved in the BPA program. Also, we have a Halloween Safe House, which is coming up Friday, October 30th, and it is sponsored by the Interact Club. And the International Fest is on Friday, November 6th, sponsored by the Seekers Diversity Club. and we hope that you join us. They're a lot of fun. We have them every year. And then going on to more sports, the boys varsity golf team finished third in their conference tournament, and it was led by all-conference golfers David Kavalauskas, who shot an 86, and then Colin Wilma, who shot an 87. Also contributing to the team were Kyle Berry and then Kevin Campworth. So that's what we have, and thank you.
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to present young Miss Simmons. Come on down. Miss Simmons is going to talk a little bit about her experience with the Country Club Hills Police Explorers Program. We're still in the page from Oak Forest in terms of letting the students talk about their experience. You can read our good news report.
Hi, so my name is Alexa Simmons. I'm a senior here at high school. I'm a very acclimated student within the school. I participate in various activities, particularly the band. I've been a part of mock trial for 2 years. I'm a Hope leader, I'm a Hawk tutor, and I'm in National Honor Society. So as I'm acclimated in the school, I also participate in activities within the community, one particularly being the Country Club Hills Police Explorer Program. This Explorer Program is a great experience. It teaches you a lot about law enforcement, which is a particular field that I would like to go in the future. I would like to eventually go into the FBI. So this is kind of helping me out with that. We do a lot of great activities. In the summer, we went to the Cook County Courthouse and we sat through 2 trials. And we also went to the Cook County Jail and went on a jail tour. So that was a nice experience. So, yeah.
It was a nice experience.
It was a memorable experience. It was nice. Also, this program, I found out about it last year at a career expo at my school, and they had the police department there, and 2 officers, and they talked to me about it, and I went. There are certain requirements you have to be in this program. You got to be 14, 21. You have to be a good student. You have to have good grades. You can't have any like arrests, convictions, or anything. Yeah, it's a great program. Some other things about this program, it's just a great program, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I have Richard Ryan and Brittany Lara with us today. Come on up, guys. This is their first time, and they're going to do great. You know Richard, he's been here before for his inventions. And Brittany is an awesome swimmer. She'll tell you a little bit about herself, as Richard will also.
Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Brittany Lara. I'm a senior at Bremen High School. I'm in the varsity swim team. I'm a captain. We have conference next Thursday. Excuse me?
Where?
At Oak Forest. I'm also on the water polo team. And we're here to share with you the good news report. In the midst of finishing my first application to my first college, which is Carthage, Bremen High School Student Services Department decided to announce the class of 2016 will be participating in the Illinois College Application Month, also known as ICAM, for the 2nd consecutive year. ICAM is an annual event sponsored by the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. During October, VHS students will be receiving hands-on assistance from the guidance counselors and staff volunteers. The class of 2016 has already eagerly started filling out applications for the post-secondary plans.
Hello, my name is Richie. I'm a junior at Bremen High School. I'm part of the golf team. Our season just ended and we did pretty bad. We're involved in quite a few clubs, and one of the newer things I joined is ITEC, which I've come here to talk about a bit. ITEC is essentially our school's new tech division for all the iPads the freshmen got this year. So we did everything from setting them up on freshman day, which was rather dramatic, to just troubleshooting with locked iPads or not working keyboards. And throughout the year, we still do halls to do more than just iPads, but computers and having teachers too. And the other day, we were recognized by Dr. Kabalkis over there for people that the school staff should know. Yeah, we've done quite a bit this year. It's been quite exciting, especially with these nice new freshmen.
If a student has a problem with their device, how do they know what to do?
Usually they'll go into the IMC, and our secretaries in there who also run the library, they'll go up to them and they'll say, we have this issue. And there's almost always a iTech number in there for all the FLCs. So they'll go and get us, and then they'll say, so-and-so is having this problem, can you help them out? And we'll sit them down, and we'll talk with the iPad, and hopefully get the problem solved.
Next, the Bremen High School's Pride Project team is planning its second year of visits to our feeder schools under the direction of President Alicia Kolacki, Vice President Cheyenne Moore, Secretary Janet Avila, and Member-elect Javier Cobordiris. The first visit will focus on preventing bullying in the school setting. The project team will partner with Bremen's anti-bullying organization for this event.
Lastly, I'd like to recognize two of our Bremen athletes. First of all, Mayria Lopez, one of our cross-country runners, who managed to finish first in the District 228 quad, and she finished second in the Ileana Christian Invite, and then finally she placed 38 out of 665 runners at the first finish invite in Peoria. And I'd also like to recognize one of our soccer players, Ricardo Avalos, who earned tournament MVP with honors, and he helped win the Braves Championship at the Windy City Classic this year. He also led the team in scoring. He also leads the team in scoring.
I was in a meeting and a bunch of adults were trying to figure out an app, and we figured out that the app cost us way too much. And we were deciding, well, should we use the app, should we not use the app? So I figured, well, let me talk to one of our iTech people. Went over to Bremen and asked, who's your best iTech person? And they said, well, there's no doubt, it's Richie. I said, can you help me out here? Can you find an app that we can use that's just as good for free? And it took him a while, but he apologized because he's doing 600 things. And he actually found an app that I think we're going to roll out for all our students. And you should see the email. It's just ridiculous. So, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Here in Bremen, we have pride.
Well done, and I have to apologize for my student. Emily Ellis is actually still competing or just on her way from volleyball at Evergreen Park. It was their senior night, so it ran long. She didn't want me to find an alternative. She said I wanted to be here, but obviously she couldn't. She's very excited about the new class we've had in business department now. It's been about 2-3 years old. It's sports and entertainment marketing. And the students now that we've been doing it a few years, we're really starting to take it over, which is really impressive to see. And they have done some small events already this year, also working with Bentonhausen, test drive, where they sponsored off, I think they raffled off like Notre Dame tickets. But she wanted to make sure that I invited everyone to our building at Oak Forest Tuesday, because the students have worked with some local broadcasting companies to get a show taped at Oak Forest. It's a high school football preview show, so they're kind of making this a Peppa Sunday for our teams. Actually, we're going to have a few teams, I think, hopefully competing in the postseason. But it's their show to kick it off. Former Chicago Bear Alex Brown is one of the producers of it, and he's going to be there. He's been known to bring other special guests. They won't tell us who that is, but we did some research, and we have seen people like Brian Urlacher, so we're hoping they bring some good people there. But the students, Emily herself is actually going to be the one interviewing Alex Brown, and then Alex is turning it over and having the students obviously get excited about high school playoff football. So the details will be sent out to you, and we'll make sure that if you want to be there, we can get you a part of that. We're looking to have a full house, and obviously she was very excited and wanted to tell you about that. And she also mentioned Mr. Mencken has been a big part of helping out. As the department leader, been helping out the teachers and students and supporting them anyway to get these really neat experiences off the ground. And maybe I'll invite her back because she really was pumped about being here. She couldn't be here today, so thank you for the time.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from the public? We'll move on to reports starting with the superintendent.
First, our Freedom of Information Act request since our last board meeting. Mr. Patrick McGraney of Better Government Association requested copies of our collective bargaining agreements, administrator contracts, the 2015-16 budget, legal settlements from January 1st, 2014 to present, and names, titles, and salaries for all employees and board members. This request has been completed. Ms. Charlene Roach of Data Acquisition Specialist for Smart Procedure in Deerfield Beach, Florida, requested a list of all purchase orders from May 14, 2015 to current, including the PO, the number, the date, details, quantity and price, plus the vendor ID, name, address, contact, and email, and this request has been completed. I know we've talked a little bit about the Friday flyover. The one thing that I don't think we realize is Tinley Park's a relatively small school with about 1,200 students, and the percent of students that showed up, roughly close to half of the student body was there on a Friday morning, which just speaks volumes about the commitment. So I congratulate everyone involved in that. Our October 9th Staff Institute Many Pieces, One Vision was a great success. Staff members were exposed to a variety of sessions highlighting best practices in education. These sessions were taught by our fellow staff members and aligned to our Danielson framework for teaching and professional practice. I'd like to remind everyone to visit our website calendars for upcoming concerts, fall plays, holiday celebration, and athletic events. These events provide an opportunity for our school community to see the outstanding talents of our District 228 students. And finally, I'd like to highlight the efforts of our Student Services Department. As you may know, in Illinois, October is designated as the College Application Month. In District 228, our Student Services Department is committed to getting all of our seniors involved in submitting college applications. In the month of October, district-wide, our teachers have decorated their classroom doors with signs or pennants, and on Wednesdays are wearing their college shirts to school, trying to get our kids to talk a little bit about what schools they've attended. These two activities, among a number of other activities, have really helped our students. Our counselors have worked individually to complete applications and personal essays one-on-one in our College and Career Center. They've taken over 100 students on college fairs and college visits, bringing them out to the actual schools, which is important for kids that haven't been on campuses. And they're actually celebrating the success of every acceptance letter that they get. People are getting candy bars, they're getting their letters up in the hallways, so it's become a real celebration. As a result, right now, 800 of the seniors district-wide, over 60% of our seniors have applied to a college, which is just an outstanding effort on behalf of our counselors, so I congratulate them. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any board members have anything they'd like to say?
I would just like to reiterate on the Friday flyer. It was awesome. And we had so much fun out there. There was so much energy out there. I mean, really, it's like everybody was feeding off of everybody else's energy. Even the parents were out there, and we were out there, they were playing songs, and we were dancing on the field while we were waiting for the flyover. And then I was kind of impressed this year. Well, this is my first year being able to be a part of it. And at the end of the last couple of formations that we created, we had the flash of the colors of TPHS, the yellow and the red. And that was really awesome. I thought that was super wonderful support. And the students, I believe, really enjoyed the food as well. And also, I was able to attend the Oak Forest the National Honor Society program. It was a wonderful experience. Many of the students were honored for their achievements, and it was so wonderful to see all the family and friends and community come out to support our students' achievements. And also on October 27th, many of the, which is coming up next week, many of the board members will be honored for for our achievements as well, for our professional development and our contributions to to our participation in learning more about how to be effective board members and best practices. I think that's it. That's all.
I just want to say the same, flyover, great time, early morning, but great time. It was really a lot of fun, and the kids too, the energy, the parents, everything, and the football boosters, kudos, great job, those grills smelled fantastic. Never thought I'd want a burger at 5 a.m. And Oak Forest induction for NHS, I was there as well. Very impressed with the amount of kids that worked so hard for all the goals that they have for being a member of NHS. So kudos to all the kids and parents and you as well. Thank you. So, and thank you for having me. It was a nice event.
I actually was not able to attend the flyover, but I do want to tell you, I catch the train in the morning at the Oak Park Avenue train station, and I knew what was going on, but all of a sudden you just heard this huge roar, and you could hear it from the train station to the point where everybody at the train station turned around, because not only did you hear the huge roar, but then you saw the helicopter come through, and everybody was just pointing like, what is going on? So I was excited, even though I wasn't physically there, I do apologize, but it was very exciting even just to hear just the enthusiasm and the excitement going on over here.
That's funny. It's nice too, because these kind of events let the kids see some of the staff members in a place outside of their normal day. I know during one point of it, Mr. Biano was up dancing in the press box. All right, we'll move on to finance reports. Ms. Campbell, or wait, Ms. Ressler. Sorry.
No, that's okay. On Tuesday, October 13th, the Finance Committee met at 7 p.m. Present were myself, Mrs. Campworth, and Mr. O'Malley. Absent were Mr. Canning. Guests were Mr. Terry Masterson and Mr. Jim Donato. There was no old business discussed. New business. October bills, interest funds, and deposits. The Finance Committee reviewed and discussed the October bills, interest expenditure, and deposits. The superintendent, along with the Finance Committee, is recommending full board approval of the October bills, addendums to bills, impress expenditures, and deposits. There were no over $5,000 purchase orders. Career Development System, CDS bills. The Finance Committee reviewed and discussed the CDS October bills totaling $18,029.98. These items have been reviewed with the superintendent along with the Finance Committee and is recommending full board approval of the CDS October bills as presented. The fall paper bid. The Finance Committee reviewed and discussed the paper bid. The district received bids from 6 vendors with the low bid from Midland Paper coming in at $20,525.08. The superintendent, along with the Finance Committee, is recommending full board approval of the low bid from Midland. Work order software. The Finance Committee reviewed and discussed a work order software to assist the district with creating a process that will simplify the work order tasking and create a preventative maintenance program that will provide benchmarking data. This will allow for a consistency of completing preventative maintenance and allow for efficiencies while doing so. This software will generate cost savings for the district along with enhancing the life of our equipment. The Finance Committee, along with the superintendent, is recommending full board approval of software purchase from School Dude totaling $11,907 for the first year. TIF extension, Oak Forest, TIF number 3. The Finance Committee reviewed and discussed the request from the City of Oak Forest to extend the existing TIF number 3 for an additional 12 years based on the economic downturn of 2009. Currently, the city will have to restructure the bonds and extend the bond term. The city proposed to declare 50% of tax increments on an annual basis as surplus to the taxing district in the extended term. The Finance Committee, along with the superintendent, is recommending the full board approval of the TIF extension. The next meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 9th, 2015 at 7 p.m. at the Administration Center. Our meeting adjourned at 8:05 p.m.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Sorry.
I have a comment and a
Wait.
question. Oh, no, not now.
Not now. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Teaching and Learning met on Tuesday, October 13th at 6 p.m. Present were myself, Mrs. Gleason, and Dr. Williams. Absent Ms. Stearns, and a guest was Mrs. Maureen Miller. We reviewed the Seal of Biliteracy. Maureen Miller, World Language and ELL Department Supervisor, gave a presentation to the committee on the state's Seal of Biliteracy initiative. The initiative recognizes students who are proficient at reading, writing, speaking, and listening in English and one other language. The opportunity is open to juniors and seniors, and they will be required to take a pre- and post-assessment in order to demonstrate proficiency. This year, the test will be offered in English, Spanish, French, German, and Arabic. Juniors who pass the test will receive accommodation on their transcript. Seniors who pass the test will receive an official seal of biliteracy on their diploma and identification on their transcript that he or she is biliterate. For this school year, we have about 125 students district-wide who will be invited to participate in this initiative. Overnight field trip requests were reviewed by the committee. 5 overnight field trip requests for the following teams: Oak Forest boys basketball, wrestling, baseball, and girls softball teams, and Hillcrest boys basketball team. All trips will be funded by students with some monetary support from their booster programs. Only 2 of the 5 requests will require students to miss 1 day of school, as the trips will occur over a weekend. These requests will be presented to the full board for approval. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, November 10th, and the meeting adjourned at 6:25.
Thank you. Mr. O'Malley, new business, please?
Thank you, Mrs. Sturts. Board members, item 10.1 pertains to our monthly bills, the addendum to the bills, the payroll, and the CDS bills. The Finance Committee, along with the Superintendent, are recommending those bills to the full board this evening.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. Ressler. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Item 10.2 pertains to the TIF extension for Oak Forest pertaining to TIF number 3. Finance Committee and the Superintendent are recommending this extension to the board this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Ressler, second by Mrs. Gleason.
I just have a couple questions. It says that we're getting 50% of the tax increment surplus starting.
That would be for the
end of
extension,
23.
extension period.
So after the
12-year
first 23
extension.
years expire, then, is that, am I? is
That's
that correct?
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And what other taxing districts have approved this, do we know? In the Oak Forest area?
145 is in the process of approving it. I think their board meeting is next week, so
That's the only other one that would
it's the only other
be
one.
involved? Okay,
Correct.
and is this one of those?
School
that-
district-wise.
School
it is.
district.
Correct.
Is this one of those that has to go to the legislature for extension?
It does. It would need the school district's approval in order
order to
to
go.
be extended.
Are you done? I'm sorry. The 50%, is that a sure thing, or will they have the option to come back and say, oh, we can't make our bond payments the way it's currently structured, and not give us the 50%?
It's hard to say at this point. I mean, it's of the declared surplus, 50% of
Right, they
that.
cannot
So,
declare surplus.
There you go.
yes, that's a possibility.
The surplus would be what's left after the bond payment is made. So if they can't make the bond payment, there won't be a surplus.
Right.
How many times, is this the same tip that's been extended?
No, this is not. This
Okay.
is it's a different tip.
And it's a mix, it's up to 35 years now. What area is this again? I know we have the map. but-
Yeah, the map is listed in there. It's the area along the Cicero corridor.
Is it the one at 159th?
The 159th, it extends both north and south
That's
down
not what
Cicero
was-
along 159th.
What was extended before was where
Central, wasn't it?
Food for Life Citizen.
Right, on
That's-
on
on
159th,
This is the corner of Cicero where the CVS is and
the train station.
the train station. But they still have another one then that's all of Cicero Avenue pretty much.
They do, yes.
Outside of this corner.
Correct.
anyone else have anything?
So we won't receive any money until like 2038 or something?
That's correct. Well, not any money, but the current valuation of the properties within that TIF are frozen, and the proceeds go into the TIF. They don't, we'll still receive property taxes on the current present value of the TIF, but we're not going to see any increments. So as property values increase and the valuation of those properties goes up, we're not going to see any property tax revenues as a result of that. Now,
So does it work if the property values go down? Does ours stay the same or will it go down too?
yeah, it could potentially.
Just can't go up.
And it's really a catch-22 because if the board were to decide not to approve the extension of the TIF, what they can do as a city is they can dissolve the existing TIF and then just start a new TIF, and they don't need the board's approval or blessing in order to do that. They can go ahead and do that, and then there wouldn't be any 50% of declared surplus. And reviewing the financials and the bond payments and things, it definitely, in 2009, Cook County changed the way they structured the assessments, and it greatly affected the TIF and their ability to make their bond payments. So it's something, after reviewing it, that it needs to be done. Again, their options are to increase taxes in Oak Forest to the taxpayers and/or dissolve the TIF and reissue a new TIF encompassing these properties. They need our authority to move forward to extend it via Springfield. However, again, if they wanted to dissolve it and formulate a new TIF, they would advise us what they're doing, but we really wouldn't have much say in terms of that.
So you recommend that we should approve this?
At this particular time, yes.
Okay.
I do.
Is there any way to add to this? If you recall the one TIF that Midlothian had, there was a, section 8, is it called Schedule 8 or?
Yes, I remember,
I can't
recall
remember
what
the
you're
term,
saying.
but they
for
get
those
a
certain
property
appeals.
tax. Yes.
Right.
Is there any way to add that so that, to me,
That's
that's double
definite-
dipping.
Sure.
Now they're getting a tax cut, a 50% tax cut, the individual businesses.
Right.
And that, I know Midlothian was trying to put that into one of the TIFs they
That's
had.
a component that we can talk to the city of Oak Forest about when they draft the resolution pertaining
And that's a
to
going
the agreement.
forward thing.
Absolutely.
And to Mark's point, prior to this TIF being put in, that corner was vacant. I mean, there was nothing there. The train station, that was it. So now at least there's a business and a bank, and they had really had scheduled other development, but then it never happened because the economy just tanked. So the value of the property has gone up, not that we've seen that increase, but it has.
Yes? Roll call.
Okay. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Item 10.3 pertains to our annual fall paper bid. The low bidder, as mentioned by Ms. Ressler, was Midland Paper for a cost of $20,525. Recommending this to the board this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Ressler, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones? Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Yeah, one more. Item 10.4, the work order software. After reviewing various software options and being one of the few districts that does not currently have a preventative maintenance software, the committee, along with superintendent, is recommending the approval of the school dude software purchase for this school year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. Ressler. Any discussion?
Just a comment, we use a similar piece of software from the same company at the Park District. We've had it for the last 3 years. Ours is called Facility Dude. It is everything they say it is and then some. Their tech support is outstanding. The ability to schedule all your preventive maintenance and know on a moment whether or not it's done. It's a great program. I'm glad to see us get it.
Okay. Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones? Aye. Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Dr. Williams?
Thank you, Ms. Stearns. Item 10.5 are overnight field trip requests for Hillcrest High School boys basketball participating in a game in Bloomington. There'll be no loss of school days for them. Oak Forest boys basketball participating in a Thanksgiving tournament. Girls softball, a tournament in April. That will be one loss of school day that will leave on a Friday. It's a weekend tournament. Oak Forest wrestling team participating in a tournament at the beginning of December. They will also miss Friday. We'll go over them the weekend. And then varsity baseball will participate in baseball games in Mahomet. The Teaching and Learning Committee, along with the superintendent, recommend the approval of these overnight field trip requests.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Mr. Goggins?
Item 10.6 pertains to personnel. Under resignations, Lisa Garza, Adnan Jada, Anna Rout, Leanne Harvey, Juana Castillo, and Luther Boyd. Under leaves, Todd Strine, Michelle Kaler, and Nafshia Brown. And under employment, Irma Ramirez, Lucas Fritsch, Rebecca Gonzalez, Conrad Jacobson, Chastity Neal, Raymond Hayes, Jeremy Lannon, Adam Villafranca, Laura Lieber, Justin Edgecombe, Christopher Lodegowski, Elena Rodriguez, Lisa Jett, Andrew Ortiz, Philip Umnes, and Leslie Van Sleep. The board's personnel committee did not meet on the 7th of September, or excuse me. They did not meet in October.
Or September.
Or September. But Dr. Kendall has reviewed the many certificated and support staff items on the agenda, and they are now being put forth to the full board for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye. We do not have closed session tonight, so our announcements are as follows. Personnel will meet November 9th, 6:30 p.m. at the Ad Center. Finance also November 9th, 7 p.m. at the Ad Center. Teaching and Learning will meet November 10th, 7 o'clock at the Ad Center. The next board meeting will be November 17th, 7 p.m. at Hillcrest High School.
And tell me one more, policy will meet Wednesday, October, whatever Wednesday is.
28th.
28th, at 4 o'clock.
At the Ad
At the
Center.
Ad.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.